These predators didn't just accidentally fall into this operation. There was an agreed upon location for them to go to, and that's where they went with the understanding that they would be sexually exploiting a child.
Lubbock police want parents to know the number of people preying on children across our area is increasing. Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Local, state, and federal agencies are working hard to fight child sex crimes across the South Plains. They have recently arrested 5 men they say are responsible for the growing exploitation in our area.
KCBD News Channel 11's Case Wilbanks joined us in the studio with what we know about this special operation. Case?
Well, Karen and Abner, court records show us Lubbock police and investigators at all law enforcement levels work together for these stings. They used decoys to lure them in, which are specially trained officers who impersonated teenagers online. Now, these are the men that they targeted: 51-year-old Kelly Moore, 20-year-old Landon Hernandez, 55-year-old Joe Arredondo, 39-year-old Jose Salazar, and 24-year-old Eric Suniga. They are each accused of online solicitation of a minor. Records show they agreed to meet someone they thought was a child and pay to have sex with them. Police also arrested 36-year-old Renee Lincolna for soliciting prostitution. Now, records show they used the same tactic with him, but he is not charged for soliciting a minor. Investigators say they started this operation when they noticed an increase in predator encounters across Lubbock. They credit a partner agency with reporting the trend. Now, officers want parents to know it's okay to talk about these hard subjects with your kids. Most importantly, they say that you should keep the lines of communication open for their own good.
Talk to them, ask them questions. You know, I think sometimes parents fall into the trap of not wanting to overstep, giving their child space to grow and become an adult. But the reality is, at the end of the day, these are still kids, and there are unfortunately predators out there who do want to exploit them.
Another important step is to know and understand the platforms your kids are using. These include social media, video games, chat services, text messages, and message boards. There are also parental controls on many of those platforms where you can control who they're talking to and how. Karen?
Thank you, Case. Good advice.